Every year, the White House Correspondents Dinner transforms the Washington Hilton into a temporary fortress. It gathers the president, the cabinet, and the highest echelons of the American elite under a single roof. But the venue carries a dark legacy. Locals call it the Hinckley Hilton, remembering the 1981 assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan right outside its doors. At 8:34 p.m. on April 25, 2026, that historical vulnerability shattered the gala once again. Gunfire echoed near the ballroom checkpoint, sending the president and his cabinet diving for cover under their tables. The shock of the attack came from its origin point. The shooter had not fought his way through the perimeter from the street. The threat had already bypassed the gates. Law enforcement tackled and subdued a 31-year-old man named Cole Thomas Allen. He had zero criminal history and was entirely absent from federal watch lists. Instead, his background was elite and highly analytical. Allen held a 2017 mechanical engineering degree from the California Institute of Technology and had previously secured an undergraduate internship at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. In his current civilian life, he worked quietly as an independent video game developer and a high school tutor. Just months before the shooting, his tutoring firm had named him Teacher of the Month. How does a gentle, highly logical mind, trained to build robotic algorithms, calculate that bringing a shotgun to a political gala is rational? Allen represents a distinct archetype of modern extremism. He applied the cold mechanics of the scientific method to ideological violence. To his neighbors in Torrance, California, Allen lived a quiet, unremarkable life, residing with his parents. But he maintained a hidden shadow self. He joined fringe activist groups like the Wide Awakes and secretly stockpiled a 12-gauge shotgun and a .38 caliber handgun in his childhood home. Exactly 10 minutes before the attack, he sent an email to his family, framing his intentions as a final equation. The message opened with a clinical apology to his parents for faking a job interview. Inside, he detailed calculated rules of engagement. He stated his intention to target administration officials, prioritizing them strictly from highest to lowest ranking, while explicitly writing an exception to spare FBI Director Kash Patel. He even justified his weapon choice through a twisted logic of care. He wrote that he loaded the shotgun with buckshot instead of slugs, specifically to avoid penetrating walls and minimize casualties among bystanders. He referred to himself as the friendly federal assassin, an attempt to reconcile the role of a killer with the persona of a polite, helpful teacher. His manifesto also mocked the Secret Service directly. His analytical mind had identified a massive physical flaw in their perimeter. During the dinner, the Washington Hilton remained a functioning public hotel. This meant that while the Secret Service secured the ballroom, the hundreds of rooms and corridors above remained accessible to any paying guest. Allen weaponized that layout. He checked in as a standard guest on Friday and took a room on the 10th floor. He planted himself firmly inside the fortress before the security walls even went up. Dressed in black and carrying a duffel bag, he descended through unmonitored back stairwells. By the time he reached the terrace level, he had completely bypassed the main lobby and the front entrance metal detectors. The Secret Service presence was rendered entirely reactive. They were defending a perimeter from an attack originating behind their own lines. The critical moment of execution arrived as security screening wound down. Allen broke into a sprint, rushing past the dismantling magnetometers outside the main ballroom. The theoretical plan met immediate, violent resistance. Allen opened fire, striking a uniformed division officer squarely in the ballistic vest. The clinical perfection of his written manifesto dissolved into a messy physical reality. Agents tackled him, stripped him of his weapons, and subdued him just inches from his goal. His mathematical equation for political change failed the second it collided with human variables and the overwhelming physical force of the Secret Service. The president returned to the safety of the White House. The Department of Justice declared the Washington Hilton no longer viable for presidential gatherings. The government responded by accelerating plans for a 90,000-square-foot underground bunker ballroom on the White House grounds. Cole Thomas Allen believed he was rolling a boulder up a hill. He thought that by applying violence as a civic duty, he could fix society and pull it out of the dark. His actual physical achievement achieved the exact opposite. He forced the American political apparatus to abandon public spaces and retreat deeper underground. the friendly federal assassin attempted to free society with an equation of violence. Instead, he succeeded only in casting a much darker shadow on the wall, locking our leaders permanently inside the fortress.